You know that the outdoor temperature has reached -10 or -20 degrees centigrade, and you can see that in winter, ice has been the endowment for this locality, and the winter sports have been welcome in these localities. And we can see that a lot of young people are fond of ice sports. And we often say that for ice sports, they need to stop and start at the very beginning, at a very early age. And now it is not winter vacation, therefore the children go to school during the day, and after school they will go here for the training session. And actually, so when we step into the training field, you can see the indoor temperature is also rather low, and it is a simulation of the real conditions of ice. And one of the child stop to see what is happening here, and you can see the children are wearing the ice shoes, and they are training under the instruction of the coach, such as spins. And you can see this kind of movement for this small girl, and it reminds me of the figure skating competition what I watched during my young age. And we can see the technique is so delicate. And now we can see that the warm-up exercise for the children.
我们现在因为要进入冰场，然后又没有穿这个冰刀鞋。
Entering into the ice field, and we will wear a plastic filter before entering into the ice field. So the small girl warned us that it is slippery, so we will be aware of the slippery floor, slippery ice. So we are ready. And so are you interested in what we are doing? How old are you? 8 years old. And how long have been training? 1 year. So what moves have you mastered? How do you feel? Very good. Would you show us? What kind of moves, spins, jumps? What kind of moves can you perform? I can spin on 1 foot. So this is the achievement for the 8-year-old child after 1 year of training. So very good. And we can see here that these children are in their primary school. And for such good performance becomes my envy because it is so beautiful. And at the very beginning of today's show, we have mentioned that the national conditions and natural conditions have been good for ice sports. Skating and skiing are very popular. So especially after the whole nation has been working hard for the bodybuilding, these two sports have become even more popular because skating can help us to have more flexibility as well as strength. So we may look back on the history of skating, and in Sui and Tang dynasty, outdoor skating and skiing have taken the preliminary form according to historical documents. The people along the river of Nanjiang as well as Heilongjiang, the Aztec minorities, they are using wooden sticks, and these wooden sticks are tied to people's feet, and this is used for skiing and skating purposes. And in Tang dynasty, there is also an ethnic minority Huihu, and they also use wood sticks for the skiing purposes on the snowland. And this is also called back then like riding on wooden horse. And in Tang dynasty, there's also one ethnic minority. And this ethnic minority, Daye Guren, which is now in Mongolian area. And this ethnic minority, they are riding on the so-called wooden horse for hunting purposes. And for these ethnic minorities, they lived in northern part of China. In winter, it was very cold and snowy. Therefore, the natural conditions are favorable for winter sports and ice sports. Of course, originally it was for survival purpose. And in Song dynasty, people have certain kind of entertainment for the ice sports. Originally, people wanted to move on the ice for transportation, for hunting purpose. But in Song dynasty, people have ice play or bingxi, and we have certain kind of playing. There will be a wooden board, and on the board there will be like blanket, and 2 to 3 people will be sitting on this wooden board, and one person will actually pull this kind of wooden board. And this playing is called Bingchuang because it is from the ethnic minority side, so they are also called Huchuang. Hu means ethnic minority in ancient China. And in actually a document of Song dynasty, it has mentioned this kind of Bingchuang or wooden board. And there is also one emperor of Song dynasty who is also fond of the ice play. And in Ming dynasty, ice play or bingxi has become imperial pastime. And this before Qing dynasty, we can see that for ice sport have become very popular in northern part of China. But outside northern part of China, ice play is not so popular. And especially in Song or Tang dynasty, skiing and skating were alike. And Ming and Qing dynasty have become the good time, the golden age for the development of skating, especially Qing dynasty. We can see for the Manchu Aztec minority, they live along the Changbaishan mountain or the northern China. The winter was long, therefore the Manzu, Man Aztec, have grown up in ice world, so they have this kind of technique and skill. And using this kind of expertise, the Qing emperor have built an army even, which is good at skiing and skating. And after Qing dynasty entered into the mainland and become the ruler, skating has also become a part of military training. And in every winter, the Qing emperor will watch a large-scale performance of ice play, and it is like a military review. This kind of military person will ski and skate on the ice ground. And as time goes by, skating has become less and less for military purpose, but more and more for entertainment purpose. And we have new kind of ice play. We can combine skating with acrobatics. And in Asian China, we can combine skating and football. We have ice football. And in Qing Dynasty, the ice blades have improved. We have double or single ice blades. From Sui Dynasty, Qin Dynasty, as well as to Qing Dynasty, we can see ice sports have developed. Especially in Qing Dynasty, it was the golden age. And we are now in the Winter Sport Management Center of Changchun, and we are watching the young children for their training. And on the ice field, we see the coach. So this coach in black coat and light hat, he is the coach. So would you introduce Miss Liu Xin for how many children are training? So rather a few children are here because they have other engagements, other classes. And for this part, we focus on figure skating. We target the children in kindergarten and the children in primary school. We actually want to nurture the backup talents. So for kindergarten children, about 3 to 4 years old, yes. For that boy, that girl, she is just 4, but she has been training for a long time. For skating, it requires a long time of training, even from the very early age. Are children very enthusiastic? Yes, they are. And for children in kindergarten age, a lot of children participate in this kind of activity, and for skating, it requires high techniques. Therefore, it requires the training from the very early age. For figure skating, it is a combination of technique and art performance. So people need to have excellent technique. So they need to learn different kind of moves and techniques. And for skating, for figure skating, it is rather complex. It requires technique as well as the passion and performance. So the children will also take part in the dance classes, and it is a high standard. The parents also support this training. So for dance classes, it will help the children to have good shape and good flexibility. So it is necessary. For skating, flexibility is prerequisite. Therefore, people need to have their training in dance, then we can have the training in skating technique. Therefore, the ultimate performance will be beautiful. So, what about how many boys and how many girls in this training? Now, we have more girls than boys. And we hope that we can have more people being aware and being knowledgeable of this kind of sport. We hope that more children can participate. Then we can have a better pool of children so as to select. And on the one hand, we are nurturing the backup talents for sport competition, but on the other, for the children, the kind of skating as a hobby, it is also rather good. And Ms. Liu has also mentioned that they have been training for skating and also for dancing. And we will also interview another guest. So we are from CCTV. So you are here with your children? Yeah. So my boy is for the short track speed training. So you are here earlier. So now it's 5:30. Now it's 5:20. So in 10 minutes we will go on into the ice field. So you're a boy. I am 4 years old, and I have been training for 1 month. So why you go here? Previously, my boy was training for inline skating, and after that, there was one coach suggesting that my boy was suitable for skating. And after skating for a while, this kind of famous coach appreciated my boy and took him as his student. And we can see. Do you like skating? Yes, I like it. So how do you feel skating? Normal. It is rather normal. Are you happy with this? Yes, happy. So a little bit shy because he's just 4 years old. So we look forward to seeing your great performance. Thank you. So now we see the group coach, Mr. Li. Okay, you can also wear your shoe cover and come on the ice field. Okay. So it is like in 10 minutes, the ice rink will change items from the figure skating to speed skating. So the speed skating is beginning to train in 10 minutes. So Ms. Li is the team guide for speed skating team. So I am the team guide for the short track speed skating as well as the speed skating as well as the figure skating. And for short track, we have professional, amateur as well as different levels of training. Therefore, for figure skating, we train for hobby purposes, for basic purposes. So for previously, you have seen that children are skating, are training. So just now, I have discussed with Ms. Liu Xin, and for today, this is not weekend, so fewer children come here. So we can say that for children, they focus on their curriculum in school. So in winter or summer vacation, we can say that so many children are here. So some of the children have their school schedule ending late. So at night, we may not have so many children. But for winter or summer vacation, it is better. And for the ice rink, it is artificial. And for our ice rink, even in summer, we can have this kind of ice rink for training purpose. And from actually July to April of the next year, this kind of operation is maintained and sustained. So it is like a large refrigerator. So it is an organization directly under the purview of the Bureau of Sports of Changchun. And for the children here, and for the coach are professional, but they do not charge anything. Therefore, we can see that the accommodation, the training facility are all free upon registration. So you can see this kind of machine which can help to generate the ice. And we can see the figure skating has just finished, and we are expecting the short track speed skating, and the ice rink has even melted or has been influenced. Therefore, we have this kind of machine to generate fresh ice. And for this kind of machine, this kind of facility, it is to get rid of the ice piece on the very surface of the rink, and the machine will also power fresh water on the ice to generate fresh ice. And you can see that there are blades under this kind of machine, this kind of vehicle, and it will get rid of the fragment ice on the surface of the ice rink, and it will take about 10 minutes for getting rid of this fragment ice and for pouring new ice. And for the short track, it is according to international standard about 5 to 6 centimeters for this kind of track. And this water is to satisfy the requirements of our training. And in actual competition, milk is also applied to make the ice ground, ice rink smoother. So sometimes we see the ice rink as white because it is actually with milk in it. So with international competition each day, we will need about tens of thousands of milk each day. Upon entering into the ice rink, you can smell the fragrance of the milk. And we have a lot of parents here. And we can see that for today's 2 sessions of figure skating and speed skating, we have a lot of children. So the parents will be here to take care of their children. And for different sessions, especially for the training sessions for the middle school students, parents will be fewer because their children can take care of themselves. And we have also introduced about the history of skating. And in modern age, in recent years, we can see what are the developments of skating. The most significant development is that we are expecting the Winter Olympics in 2022. President Xi has mentioned that 300 million people will be participating in ice sports. And we can see we have a substantial development and momentum in the development of the ice sport. And originally, ice sport concentrated in northern China, but now we expand to southern China. A lot of competition are now held in Shanghai and other southern cities. So we can see people are more enthusiastic about ice sport. So a lot of ordinary people, they are willing to enjoy the interest or the fun of ice sports. So we have the competition in southern China. A lot of people, they are curious about what is skating, and we will explain. In southern China, they are curious about the skating on the actual ice rink. A few years ago, people may be confused, but now people have a better understanding in southern China. And young people, especially ordinary people, they are actually willing to participate in skating and skiing. And now we can see the science area have been finished, and maybe we will leave the entrance and the children can enter through this kind of entrance. And for today's mission, today's task of this kind of ice generating machine, it is to cover the whole rink. And for competition purpose, maybe there's also a kind of task only focus on the speed track, and that will take less time. And the temperature for the training ground is about 3 to 5 degrees centigrade, but for the ice ground, the temperature would be -3 to -4 degrees centigrade. But for the room temperature, it will be above 0 degrees centigrade. And with warmer temperature, the athletes can have better performance. I know that you have been professional and you have won world championship. Yes, when I was a professional athlete, I have won a world champion. And how long have you been professional? I have been trained from 6 years old to 28 years old. It has been 22 years. So how do you feel looking back on these children? So my deepest feeling is that for winter sport is prospering. As an athlete and then a coach, a team guide, I do hope that this kind of sport can be popular, can be well understood across China. Actually, many people are participating in this kind of items. So now a lot of people participate in skating and skiing. It is rather good. And for the short track speed skating, these children are wearing uniform suits. So for different kind of team, they have their own suits. You can see for this kind of suit, it is for Changchun city, or that kind of suit, it is for another city. So it is to help the judge and the audience to see which group or athlete belong to. You can see very thick gloves, but the clothes is rather thin. So what are the function for the clothes? For the gloves, it is to keep the children warm. And for these kind of clothes, it is this kind of special material that cannot even be cut by a knife. So from neck to the elbow, all the material are specifically and specially manufactured and produced. So this kind of suit and clothes is of high quality so as to protect the children from getting injured. So this is a cover for the blade. So when the children enter into the field, the blade will be shown and the cover will be taken off. So what are the features for the blades? So now it is for the primary level. And for competition purpose or for higher level training, the blades will have higher requirements. So the current blade weared by our children cannot satisfy the need for professional competition. So you can see the children going onto the ground, onto the rink. So we are also the training base for winter sport. So we are seeing skating here. What other sports are we also promoting? So for our winter sport management center, we promote skating, skiing, and there is a new sport we focus on. That is the male ice ball. About 20 years ago, we have a team of male ice ball, but for this year, we reorganized such a game, such a team, ice hockey, so as to better train athletes for ice hockey. So we can see the Bureau for Winter Sport has great effort and focus on this. So we are recruiting the member for ice hockey team this year. So what are the requirements? So as we have staunch support from the government, from the Winter Sport Bureau, so the requirement is that you do not need to have previous experience. So we recruit teenagers, and for the training purpose, the accommodation as well as training costs are free, and the equipments are all imported, high quality equipment. So this is also a very substantial support and incentive. So welcome for the parents and teenagers to register here. If after the selection you can become a member of the ice hockey team, so it will be a great chance. Ice hockey is a great competitive sport item. So apart from skating, ice hockey, so what are other sports? We cover all the winter sports. all the actually snow projects, snow sports. We cover all kinds of these kind of activities. So nowadays, the people need to go to the mountain fields to get scattered to seek for fresh snow, but we are combining this kind of strengths. So for skating, it is rather healthy because during skating, the fat is consumed instead of the sugar in your blood. So what are the benefits? For skating, it will help you with your balance. And in winter, skating will help you to have better health because you need to consume more energy. And it is rather good for you to keep fit and lose weight. So I have seen a report, that if you are 60 kilogram, and if you do not feel exhausted, you skate for half an hour, and about 130 calories will be consumed. So this kind of energy will be consumed. If you actually sweat, you will consume more energy. And even for the fresh learners, you are afraid, you are nervous, and you will consume more energy. And this kind of sport is also beneficial to the flexibility, balance, and coordination of your body. And you can see the speed track. The short track speed skating is totally different from figure skating. So for short track speed skating, we can see the competition on endurance and speed. So all the children are circling in their skating. So for short track, speed and endurance are important, but it is not a pure competition of your strengths. 5 people share one track. It also requires tactics and strategies. If we have a better strategy, we can have a better advantage to win the game. So we need to have smarter children to be trained for the short track, because it is also a competition of your strengths, your wisdom, as well as your strategy. So now the children may be leading, but in real competition, maybe the children cannot win because we have different kind of children with different kind of tactics and performance. So if you know short track, the competition will be very interesting. Especially for Winter Olympics, it is not who has the most strength. It is a combination of multiple factors. And we can see for the Winter Sport Management Center's perspective, we can see a lot of world champions are trained here, including Zhou Yang. And for Zhou Yang has been the champion, and I have even visited his training field. And Zhou Yang has won 2 consecutive champions in the 1500-meter track. And you can see on the picture, all these people are world champions. So all these are nurtured by our training center. So from here, we have a lot of world champions. So this is the pride of not only Changchun people, but also of the whole Chinese people. And for our coaches, a lot of our coaches have been world champions when they were athletes. And these coaches are kept here to actually train the future generation of world champions. Maybe in the future, among the children we see today, we will see the talents, the winners, the champions. It is totally possible. So you can see now it is for the ordinary training, the regular training session. And it is like the children are circling the rink to try to get the better technique. It is different from figure skating. Figure skating is for artistic performance, but for the short track, it is repetitive. And there is this girl who has been rather late, and she's just joining us. And children are interested and curious for this kind of sport, and they are not actually intended or committed to win this kind of champion. But we can say a lot of parents and children come here for exercise and even for fun. So it is not solely for competition purpose. So the children can have another skill, another hobby. So on the rink, we can see the indication, the mark. For one track, we have 7 marks. And for the whole track, it is about 111.2 meters. So it is for standard track. Actually, I actually don't understand why the track shall be 111.2 meter. But if the track is only 100 meters, the circle will be so small. And for the Olympic champions, for each circle, the time consumed will be just 7 seconds. For 100 meters in 7 seconds, it is rather high speed. So you can see this kind of high speed as well as the centripetal force generated by this kind of activity. And for short track, more people participate because it is for group training. But for figure skating, it is individual performance. So would you introduce what are the things they need to pay attention to for the early stage trainees? And equipments nowadays are rather good. So when I was younger, the equipment, the blades, was not good. And what I want to remind the children is that they need to wear the helmet as well as the glove. And the early stage training need to wear more to keep warm. And to take the precaution and protection for safety purpose. And to exercise, to have sport, we need to keep safe. We need to keep our body warm and keep our body protected from getting injured. So when you start learning, maybe it is inevitable to fall. Yes, it is rather, actually it is not that serious. For children, they are not very tall and they have low gravity point. If they fall, it is rather okay. But for adults, they are tall, they have high gravity points, and when they fall, it may hurt more. Therefore, that is why we need to start training from the very early age. And who is the coach here? And Yuan Ye, this coach here, directly in front of us at the entrance. We have 4 teams training here. And I will go to Yuan Ye to have a certain kind of discussion. And on the ice, it is rather slippery. Mr. Yuan Ye, coach, can I take a minute or two? So for these children are your training, yes. So they are at a very early stage of training. So what are the current items for the training? So we split a set of moves. So for the repetitive and continuous training, it will help the children to have a better memory and command of this technique. And the formation of the team is like this. In competition, they will have the same formation. And therefore, at the very beginning, they need to get used to this kind of team formation. So for each session, how long will it take? 1.5 hours for each session. So how do you think about the performance of these children? They are better at training. The parents will use cameras to take video, and they will look back at the video, and they will look and consider and reflect. And for these new learners, new beginners, so what are the ordinary mistakes? At the very beginning, it is not like mistakes. They cannot tell the difference between the gravity point when people are walking and when people are skating. So when people are skating, the gravity center will be lower. If you walk, you have different kind of center of gravity, but if you skate, you need to lower that center of gravity, and you need to lean forward. And for the children, if I teach a beginner learner, it is rather satisfying and fulfilling because even within one day, we can see substantial achievements and progress. Maybe for the first day, the children can just stand, but the next day, he or she can skate. So we can see the enthusiastic children with good performance. So I even am curious and intrigued. So we have professional coaches here, and I even want to have a try. So as we have the coaches, I will begin as a pure new learner. So we are getting on the ice rink. The coach is reminding me to actually keep my balance. So I can have this kind of world champion coach with me. So it is rather slippery. I cannot even have a taste of the inline skating, but maybe I can have a try. So I remain very cautious. I actually put on my ice blade. So what about the size of the blades? So for your type, it is for the normal size, but for mine, it is customized to my own foot, to my feet. should I tie the shoes tighter? Should I tie the lace tighter? It is just normal. You can tie it as you like. So if you have higher attainment, you can have better equipment. But as you are a new learner, a beginner, you can use this kind of common equipment. So I have put on this blaze. And you have mentioned that as compared to older days, the current blades are better, and it is rather actually easier for you to stand on and maintain your balance because your feet are fixed. And if you tie the lace tighter, it will prevent the injury of your ankle. Have you been in skiing? Yeah, I have been skiing, but it is normal. So I am so afraid that I cannot even stand on the ice. So the blades, the shoe is rather hard, so it is easier for you to stand on. Previously, when I was younger, when I was training, the shoes were so soft, so we only relied on our ankle to maintain the balance. But now we can have this kind of better blades, so it is easier to stand and maintain your balance. Will these children laugh at me now because they have experienced this kind of stage? Okay. Okay, come on. It is rather easier to stand on the ice. May I put on my gloves? Yes. So the coach is reminding her to lean forward instead of backward. It's like, I can stand firmly, even not at the ice rink, but for the ice rink, ice ground, it may be slippery. So you need to lean forward instead of backward. So it is the first trick I learned. So for the children, they may be rather okay with falling, but I need to remain careful. You can hold on to the fence. So first we may learn how to stand on the ice. So what kind of gesture or posture I can take. So for this, it is like a triangle position. If you can make it a triangle, it is rather stable. And you can see multiple triangles for this kind of posture. It is even more stable than you stand still. If you lean forward, you can feel that it is stabler. And how can I walk on the ice? Just now, Mr. Yuan Ye has mentioned that the new learners will blur how they walk and how they skate. And for new learners, they cannot stretch their legs from the side. They can just step forward. But for the children, you see, they can stretch their leg from a side ankle, from a side perspective. I can put my gravity center on one leg, and I can stretch my other leg. It is rather like skiing. Your knee need to be slightly bent over, and it will be rather stable than standing still. But your leg will be sore because you are using the strength. So if I am holding you, you can be rather assured and stable. It is not that difficult or that terrifying. So if you are not afraid, you know the technique, it is rather easy. And how can I use my own strength? So how can I use my own strength? Because you are actually holding me so I can move forward, but how can I move forward on myself? So maybe we can go to the other side so that we are in line with the moving direction of others. So if I'm standing here, you can be faster, helping me to get there. You need to put your gravity point forward, and you need to lean forward. It is rather like skiing. But for skiing, it is like the skiing board is flat. So we will stay here. So if you hold on the fence, it is better. You can actually easily move forward. You can see. But why I don't move forward? I just keep in the same space, same place. So it is rather like what you have just done. You need to put strength on your right leg. You know why you cannot move? Because for new learners, they are not so willing, or they are not so assured to put one foot out of the ground or to lift one foot. So you can have your own reflection. You can see you extend your legs this way, and you can move forward. So after a while, you can have this kind of feeling. So the 2 feet on rotating terms, and maybe I should start when I was really young, when I was a child. So your movement is not right, and yeah, now it's better. You use this leg as a supporting point, and you use the other foot to stretch your leg and to apply certain strength. I have been a question, a difficulty even for a world champion to train. So you can see, maybe now you are not cold. It is rather warm here. I'm sweating, I'm nervous, and I'm applying my strength. You can see that now your ankle is rather straightforward. It is not imbalanced. So I can lift one foot up the ground. It will require better balance. And you are standing rather steadily. It is rather good. Is it your first time on the ice? Yes, it is rather good. So before today's show, maybe I should have previous training to prepare as a preparation. Actually, as this is your first time, you can show us the real condition, and it shows that you have the real potential. And you may be afraid of falling because you are not willing to lift your foot away from the ground or lift your hand away from the fence. You can stand steadily. And for this blade, it is in a curve shape on the blade, so you can move. So why I'm moving backward? Because if you are not skating, your center of gravity is on your back, so you will move backward. So if I lean forward, I will not move backward. So it is like skiing. If you lean forward, you will not lift backward. But you dare not to take my own posture. Because it seems like you are leaning forward, but actually your gravity center is on your back. So you can try to adjust your standing, adjust your posture. So you are wearing the short track blades. But if you are wearing the figure skating blades, you will move forward. And for the figure skating blades, you will move forward and backward due to the design for the blades. But for you are wearing the short track blades, you will remain stable. And for the short track blades, you need to stretch your legs from the side. So for the children, they actually adjust and adapt step by step. So how long have you been training for this? So this is the girl we have just interviewed. So she has just been training for 1 month. Is that true? So you are not telling us? I'm 4 years old. So are you the one I'm talking to previously? So how about your performance? Would you show me? Okay. You can say, I cannot skate. Maybe you can show me how to skate. So this is this 4-year-old girl. After 1 month, it is rather a good progress. You can see she actually can lift up her foot. So maybe I'm rather anxious. So who is this? This is also a world champion. So for short track, you need to use your hand to support you. You need to touch the ground when you are turning. Yes, because for the speed is high and you need to have the support. And so if I am falling, will there be a safe posture to fall on the ground? You actually need to fall in the forward position. You need to lean forward. If you fall backward, you can not control your position, and the back of your head is a dangerous position. And so why we are wearing helmets? Because we cannot guarantee that we fall from the forward position, or we can control our center of gravity. So we are wearing helmets. This girl is following me. So you can see here that many people are in an orderly position, in an orderly sequence for the training. So for the short track, we may not stand at the exit point of the track, the last mark, because that position will be rather dangerous. It is easy to fall on that point. And for the entrance of the track, it is rather safer. It is just like racing cars. So when you enter into the track, it is safer. When you exit, it is easy to get out of control. So we have this fence and board, this board to protect. So this board is rather flexible. And for actual competition, we have mobile fences, and the fence will be extended when hit upon by the athletes. But for here, we have the fence which is immobile, and this is used for the training of the younger and early stage training. And for large-scale competition, we can see this kind of immobile fences are not allowed, because for adults to fall, it is rather dangerous if the fences are not mobile. Maybe it is because I have not properly warmed up myself. I feel my feet are cold. It is rather normal because some of the athletes will not even wear their socks. And some of the athletes have a better feeling without socks. And for these shoes, these blades, will that hurt your feet if you do not wear socks? It is rather normal to hurt and injure your feet. Even for my blades, my shoes, it is customized to my feet, but it will also hurt. But actually, it is just better than the normal shoes, but it also hurts. After a while, it will become better. And for today, I can stand on the ice, but I cannot move forward on my own initiative, but I will. It is rather good because you have just been on the ice for several minutes. As just mentioned by the previous coach, it is rather fulfilling because for the early stage training in the children, for day 1 and day 2, there will be a huge progress. You can see the children over a certain period, you can see huge progress. And it is just for the new learner, but for if you enter into the national training team, it is just repetitive. So you have been training for about 20 years. So when you look back, what are the most interesting part? The most interesting part, or the greatest honor is when I stand on the stage to receive the award, receive the medal. But for ordinary people, if I can control, I can remain in control in good position, will that be a kind of honor or achievement? So some of my friends, they can say that they can skate, they can achieve a certain speed, they can remain stable, they feel rather satisfied. So for day 1, they may take 10 seconds, next day 9 seconds for one round. It is rather fulfilling. And now we can see that a lot of children, they are rather young and they cannot fully explain what they enjoy. But we do see that these kind of children, they will go to train after even their school curriculum. We can see from this that they are enthusiastic and passionate. So for skating, it is a kind of relax. So it is not boring. For the coach will instruct the trainee, the children, and every day will have new attractions. And these kind of attractions will help to develop even the intelligence, the strength of the children. For short track, it is not just a test of strength or endurance, it is also a test for human wisdom. So when will this session end? It will be at 6:30. So for the training, will there be any break? For children, there will be no break because these kind of sessions are short, so they do not have any break time. So could you help me to move this way, and we Okay, thank you, Mr. Li, for your introduction. And we still hope that in winter, it is a good time for winter sports to prosper. We do hope that a lot of people can take the first step to go on the ice and to have first-hand experience. And I hope that if you are interested in winter sports, adults and children alike, we hope that you can go outdoors and participate in ice sports. It is a good thing to participate. So it is good for your health. Okay, thank you for your watching. I'm Yu Mengyang in Changchun, Jilin Province for the ice sport training center.